Peace and love, sisters and brothers. I am Conscious Plat. As many of you may know, I'm a singer, a writer, poet, and a messenger for my people. I thank you all so much for joining me today. Dr. Valentine, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Greetings, brother. How are you?
I'm well, sister. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and I just want to let you know I really thank you for joining the program today. It's an honor.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, great. So, you just start wherever you would like, brother.
Just to open up, we were talking mostly about health and specific situations relative to the social disorder that's on the horizon and the economic collapse of the country's monetary system and all the things related to that internationally as well. The fact that we are going to be changing over to a world currency somewhere down the line, and that the United States dollar, the dollar that used to be represented as the reserve dollar of the world, in other words, the world ran on the United States dollar, that's due to change, which is going to have a massive effect on us here in the United States of America. We are going to see some phenomenal leaps in prices for gas, for food, what they call the savings and the monies that were be put aside for insurance and for our retirements and so forth. All of that is virtually going to disappear over the next 2 or 3 years, even sooner. Next year, beginning sometime around March, we are going to see evidence of that when whole office buildings will be closing down. The name of the new dollar, or at least the new global dollar that's maybe used as the dollar for the reserve capital of the planet, may be called something called the Bancor, B-A-N-C-O-R, I believe. And even the euro will not have the same kind of standing, though people will prefer the euro over the U.S. dollar. So things are, just imagine that the U.S. dollar was used as the reserve dollar for the planet, and those of us here in America could print it as much as we want to get rid of debts. The more we printed, the less value it had. And now you having the ability, say for instance you owe somebody some money and you print up your own dollars in order to pay them back, rather than using what's there based upon your worth and what's backed by gold, that's getting ready to stop. So now that Americans are no longer going to have the dollar supported as the reserve capital of the planet, what other people are paying for gasoline, like in France and England, for $6 for a gallon of gas, equivalent, of course. England's paying 5 and 6 pounds for a regular gallon of gas. That's going to start kicking back here to the tune of $8 and $9 per gallon. And of course, inflation will then hit where it'll become so burdensome just to fill a truck with diesel fuel to take food from one place to the next, that's going to cause a slowdown of food coming into the inner cities. So it's going to be a ripple effect once the dollar itself begins to show its vulnerability out on the world market. So China owns the most of U.S. dollars, and they had a meeting with Japan, I believe, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and a number of other countries. And Iran no longer uses the dollar, and about 3 or 4 other countries are claiming and getting ready not to use the dollar as their reserve capital. So this is what we are now in line to experience over the next few months.
Wow, okay. That's really something. And like I've said, I have seen many of your YouTube videos, and I know that you have been speaking out about this because this is something that you foresee that will begin to take place. And I think that it's really interesting and very probable because of the times that we're living in and the things that are happening. So, would you say that let's see, how can I say this? Would you say that things related to the earth and the global warming and all those type of things, the year 2012, any of those things have any factors in what you foresee coming into place?
The way that the society that we presently are under, the mentality, a society runs on a collective mindset. That collective mindset is controlled by a few people who set the precedent for how the people will behave, how they will respond, who and what they will worship, and so forth. That paradigm has stretched across the planets from Europe. It was also from the Arabs and from a specific clique of people who run the three major religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Those are the ones that are presently, or have been presently, running the planet. And what we are looking at is a massive adjustment to the mindset that has been running the planet for the last, I would say, 2,000 years. And the kind of mentality that has been handed down to our children due to the fact that it no longer fits with the dictates, the spiritual dictates of the planet, as well as the spiritual dictates of the cosmos, it no longer fits. What's getting ready to happen is a massive adjustment between what we have been doing incorrectly and the imbalance that we've created by our behavior in the planet, and what is proper and in alignment with cosmic dictates. So the behavior of humanity, especially its position and its behavior towards the world, especially the people of the American continent, where we use most of the resources of the planet more than any other country. We use more resources that pretty much is the oil, the gold, the water, everything that this planet has to give based upon the social mindset that has been set for this planet. We use more of it than any other country combined on the planet. That now has to stop because it's now dovetailing out into the rest of the world who have been trying to bring their standard of living up to match ours. The earth can't take that kind of resource rape. It cannot deal with that kind of consumption, the type of residual pollution that comes as the aftermath of the industrialization of the planet. All of that has to change. So we have at least the last 4 generations, this generation more so, that has become addicted to a fast-paced, electronic, get-it-done yesterday, outside of the rubric of natural time. We have sped up time, we have manipulated time, we have twisted time, we have perverted time, we have contorted time to match the mentality that was set some 2,000 years ago. That has to stop. And that will be traumatic because people who are accustomed to a fast-paced life, accustomed to having what they need, having their ice cream or their McDonald's or their juicy fruits or their whatever it is right there on command, they don't understand what it takes to bring those things to market, what it takes to bring the meats that they butcher for hamburgers. It takes at least 2 acres of prime forest just to feed one cow. So just meat eating or meat consumption alone around the planet is doing more to damage the planet. The fact that we are meat eaters and the amount of meat that we eat here in the United States, the amount of pigs, the amount of chicken that we kill to eat, the amount of cattle that we kill to eat just to keep up with the meat demands, you have to have an enormous amount of water to wash, to bathe, to be able to give to the cows to drink. So meat eating consumes an enormous amounts of resources on this planet, and that has to change. So there are a lot of things that we are going to be experiencing that are going to cause an adjustment in the psyche, as well as the appetites, physiologies, and mentality of the people by the time we come up to 2012. And make no mistake about it, 2012 is just a doorway. The truth of the matter is that we started our change back from 1997. We entered into that particular draft or vortex that we are calling 2012, or the end of time. We entered that back in 1997. And it is between 2012, which is the gateway, through 2020 that we're going to truly see the planet itself going through a massive adjustment, not just from what it is that has to happen with us as humans here, but how the heavens and this enormous amounts of planetoids that are heading toward us, the meteor showers, the extraterrestrials, all of that is going to all come together